We continue our reading of God's Dream for You, The Chosen, a morning devotional by author Dwight K. Nelson. Today's reading, November 3, Holy, 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 Part 3. That's holy as in sacred, holy as in a hole in your sock, and holy as meaning totally. Since we have these promises, beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from every defilement of body and of spirit, making holiness perfect in the fear of God. 2 Corinthians 7:1. What do being holy, H-O-L-Y, being holy God's, W-H-O-L-L-Y, and an end-time judgment have to do with each other? In the Hebrew, it's called Yom Kippur, or the Day of Atonement. The Jews still celebrate it today. That Leviticus 16 day when the entire community of Israel gathered at the doors of the sanctuary for a solemn liturgical annual ritual that portrayed God's final strategic eradication of sin. It was a mini judgment day, a symbolic cleansing of the sanctuary, and a spiritual cleansing of the chosen ones, expunging from the sanctuary and from their hearts the record of their sins. It was a deeply solemn day, since it was the only day of the year that the high priest would enter the very Shekinah glory of God's presence in the small tabernacle cubicle of the most holy place, sprinkling the blood of the sacrifice upon the mercy seat of the golden ark. On this day, atonement will be made for you to cleanse you. Then, before the Lord, you will be clean from all your sins. Leviticus 16:30. A day of at-one-ment between God and his chosen ones, cleansing them to be wholly or totally his, made holy, sacred, by his relentless grace. An apocalyptic cleansing of heaven's sanctuary, Hebrews 8:1, 2, and Hebrews 9:23 and 24, was predicted by Daniel 8:14 and Revelation 14:7 to be the final chapter in heaven's response to Lucifer's earth rebellion before the second coming of Jesus. Since October 22, 1844, the urgent message, the hour of his judgment has come, has been repeated generation after generation. Prepare to meet your God, O Israel, Amos 4:12. It's cleansing time. Then why hasn't the divine pre-Advent judgment ended? What is taking God so long to wrap up our rebellion on earth? It is precisely those questions that have kept both pastors and people from relishing any return to a public conversation about heaven's final Yom Kippur. To suggest we are simply not ready for Christ to return is to invite the criticism that such thinking is misguided at best and legalistic at worst. But what if it were the truth? What if all of heaven were poised, ready, in a heartbeat to interpose a divine outpouring of spiritual grace and power upon a languishing people? What if the chosen became so passionate about a wholly, totally yours devotion to Christ and renouncement of Lucifer that perfecting holiness in the fear of God, 2 Corinthians 7:1, were what we sought for most of all in Jesus? Is it legalism to deeply want what God has earnestly promised? This concludes our reading today of God's dream for you, the chosen